Every few weeks, you do something that would seem completely bizarre to almost every other creature on Earth. You sit in a chair, and you pay someone to remove parts of your body. We take it for granted, but think about it. Your dog doesn't need a haircut. A lion's mane stays a manageable length for its entire life. But if you were to stop cutting the hair on your head right now, in a few years, it would be dragging on the floor behind you. It would get tangled in branches, infested with parasites, and likely become a lethal safety hazard. So, why are we like this? Why did evolution give us hair that never stops growing? And more importantly, when did our ancestors realize they needed to start cutting it? To understand the haircut, we first have to understand the hair. Almost all mammals have terminal length hair. It grows to a certain point and then just stops. But humans are different. We have an exceptionally long anagen phase, the active growth period of the hair follicle. When we lost our thick body fur to help us stay cool while running on the African savanna, we kept the hair on our heads to protect our brains from the scorching sun. But somewhere along the line, a genetic mutation occurred. Our head hair didn't just stay. It started growing indefinitely. For a long time, this wasn't a problem, but as we began to move, to hunt, and to inhabit thick forests, long, flowing locks became a liability. Imagine trying to sneak up on a predator when your hair is 5 feet long and catching on every thorn bush. Archaeologists believe that for thousands of years, grooming wasn't about looking good, it was about survival. The first barber wasn't a professional. It was likely a friend or a family member with a very sharp rock. Before the invention of metal, our ancestors used obsidian volcanic glass that can be flaked to an edge much sharper than a modern steel surgical scalpel. They didn't just trim it, they would scrape the hair away or use these razor-sharp stones to saw through the strands. But there was another, much weirder method: fire. There is evidence that early humans used controlled embers or hot flint to singe their hair down. It was fast, it cauterized the ends, and most importantly, it killed the one thing every ancient human feared: lice. But then, something shifted. Hair stopped being a chore and started being a message. The oldest evidence we have of styled hair comes from the Venus of Willendorf, a figurine carved nearly 30,000 years ago. She isn't just hairy, she has elaborate, concentric braids. This tells us that even in the Ice Age, humans were spending hours manipulating their hair. Why? Because hair is the ultimate honest signal. To have clean, braided, or decorated hair meant you were healthy. It meant you had friends or family who cared enough to sit with you for hours to do it. It was the first social media profile. It told the world your status, your tribe, and your age. By the time we get to ancient Egypt, hair management became an obsession. To the Egyptians, body hair was a sign of bestiality. The elite would shave their heads entirely using bronze razors and wear elaborate wigs instead. In ancient Rome, the barber shop or the tanstrina became the heart of the city. If you didn't have a personal slave to shave you, you went to the tonsure. This is where the modern pacing of the barbershop was born. It was a place for gossip, politics, and news, but it was dangerous. These early razors were basically just sharpened pieces of iron. If your barber didn't have a steady hand, a haircut could easily end in a trip to the doctor, who, ironically, was often the same person. So, the next time you're sitting in that chair, listening to the snip of the scissors, remember that you're participating in a ritual that is tens of thousands of years old. We are the only species that has to manage its own biology just to stay functional. What started as a desperate attempt to stay clean and avoid being caught in the brush became the way we tell the world who we are. We didn't just start cutting our hair to look better. We started cutting it to become human.